to be alone than to be bothered. I tried so hard to be involved, but my selfish ways don't ever change. And now you're walking away, I don't blame you. And now you're running away from the danger. I guess I wasn't a saint or a savior. You put your faith in a fool. And now I'm stuck in the mud with the sorrow. I guess I'll figure it out by tomorrow. But by tomorrow you're gone with the masses. There's nothing more I can do. When I look into your eyes, I see everything that I could never be. I wanna be the one you hold the most. I'm never letting you go. But now I'm letting you go. But now I'm letting you go. But now I'm letting you go. I think I'm losing control. Another day inside my head. No one to talk to. No one to bring me down. You're probably better off now than you were before. I hope you found someone who loves you more. I hope he holds you like you're gonna die and never, ever makes you cry. I'd do it all again if I had the chance. I'd do it all again just to hold your hand. I'd do it all again if I had the chance. I'm sorry about it, I know that you doubt it. I'd do it all again if I had the chance. I'd do it all again, be a better man. I'd do it all again if I had the chance. I'm sorry about it, I know that you doubt it. When I look into your eyes, I see everything that I could never be. I wanna be the one you hold the most. I'm never letting you go. But now I'm letting you go. But now I'm letting you go. But now I'm letting you go. I think I'm losing
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Grind Fantasy official NBA live stream for this 12-game slate. Cannot wait to break everything down, guys. What a day this Wednesday was. I'm sure everybody was paying attention to the stock market and what that did. What an unbelievable day. Just overall, everybody was going crazy in their Discord chat. I was going crazy. I was so busy doing some other business. But guys, the future is bright here at Daily Grind Fantasy. Cannot wait to do everything in my power to make this a full-time job for TJ soon, and for some other guys here. Cannot wait to break down the slate, though, specifically, guys. Let's go ahead and dive right into this 12-gamer. TJ, just craziness all the way around. Where do we even start? I mean, there's so many injury news. As you know, I always say slate breaking. Let's start with the Utah Jazz. I love the slate breaking.
Yeah,
news.
I like the late break slaking injury news, like you like to say. The latest slate breaking injury news. Yeah, let's start in Utah.
All right, let's start with Utah with Donovan Mitchell being ruled out. Donovan Mitchell, one of the highest usage guys on the team. Let's run through the individual statistics for each one of these guys. Joe Ingles, 48.4% is going to be the highest zone playing in 29 minutes. Let's go ahead and start there. What are your thoughts on the overall picture of this team?
Yeah, so sorry, I thought we got an update on Sabonis, but not yet. So Ingles, Matt, at 4,200, going to be a cash lock for me. Probably going to be the chalkiest guy on the slate. I haven't projected at 32 minutes. You said Fantasy Cruncher had 28, so we found the median number there. We went with 30. He gets a 1.2% usage bump with Donovan Mitchell off the floor, 0.98 fantasy point per minute. I haven't pegged for 30 DraftKings points, so I really like Ingles as a cheap spot today. I also really like Jordan Clarkson at 5,900, gets a 2% usage bump with Mitchell off the floor, 1.25 fantasy point per minute, 29.2% usage rate, which is the highest on the team. I have Jordan Clarkson pegged for 38.25 fantasy points. I also have a lot of interest in Gobert and Mike Conley as well. It's 7,200 for Gobert and 6,100 for Conley. Conley gets a 1% usage bump. He's a 1.14 fantasy point per minute, 24% usage rate. I have him pegged for 35.7 DraftKings points. And then Gobert doesn't get a usage bump, but his fantasy point per minute does increase, a 1.33 on the season with Mitchell off the floor. I have him pegged for 42 DraftKings points. So I really like attacking Utah tonight. I like the matchup against Dallas as well. You know, it is a back-to-back. They did have the Knicks last night, but even still, I do like Utah in the spot at home. So yeah, I think there are some very viable options here from Utah. I really like Clarkson and Ingles are my favorite. And honestly, if I'm playing cash, Matt, I wouldn't mind getting a Gobert and Conley in there either.
All four, huh?
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4.
I think it's going to change close to the lock, but yeah.
I think it could change as well. You know, we still have Siakam pending, Sabonis, Tyler Hero. So there is a lot of injury news that we are still waiting on. Some guys in Atlanta too, being Capella and Reddish. So yeah, you know, I think 2 from Utah is definitely viable for now.
Yeah, I think Ingles is not going to change. I think he's going to be your cash lock no matter what, TJ. I think you can agree with me there, assuming that some of these other guys have some injury news. And right on cue, Chips is always cheering us on. So
yeah, Amanda's opening mail, so I'm going to keep muting up. He keeps barking.
It's all good. So that's the first team we have to cover. Let's kind of bounce around here. We can go to Phoenix. Oh, wait, is Washington? All these guys are out now? That I must have missed that.
Washington has nobody tonight.
Okay, so let's go to Phoenix. Since we already know that they're all out. With Phoenix, we have Devin Booker still off the floor. Gives a usage boost to all the main guys. DeAndre Ayton, also Chris Paul. Cameron Johnson gets a nice little boost. Your overall take from cash guys in this picture?
Sorry, I got distracted. We were talking about Phoenix, though, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So, yes, Matt, if I'm looking at Phoenix in the picture here, I really like Ayton at 7,300. I love him for cash. We saw what he did last time with Booker off the floor. Good matchup against OKC. We just got news that Al Horford is slated to play tonight.
Yep.
But with Booker and Saric off the floor, Ayton gets a 3.5% usage bump. He's a 1.23 fantasy point per minute. I have him pegged for 43.3 DraftKings points. So I really like DeAndre Ayton. I also really like Cameron Johnson, another guy that flourished with Booker off the floor last game, and Saric as well. 4,800, so he did get a price increase a little bit, but pegged for 28 minutes. He gets a 5.3% usage bump, which is the highest on the team, 1.03 fantasy point per minute, and a 25% usage rate. So I really like going to Cam Johnson here in DeAndre Ayton. I think Mikal Bridges is in play if you land on him, Jay Crowder, and then Chris Paul obviously gets a 2% usage bump as well, 1.22 fantasy point per minute. But my interest lies with Ayton and Cameron Johnson. Those are my 2 favorite plays here from Phoenix.
I completely agree with everything you just said. Jay Crowder played 45 minutes in Devin Booker's absence. So
That was that double OT game.
Yeah, so he still played the entire time and was shifted into the starting lineup. So I do like him for GPP's, TJ, if he's going to be playing starter minutes, upwards of 35 minutes. Chris Paul, also a very good GPP option, as you mentioned, $7,600. But Ayton's price tag at $7,300 is just criminal. I think he's also cash viable. Cameron Johnson, DeAndre Ayton from these guys, Joe Ingles from Utah for me right now, and possibly some more pieces a little bit later on, assuming that nobody else is ruled out. Where would you like to go now, TJ? Where would you like to go? We can go anywhere.
It's my choice, huh? I mean, we can talk about Washington, but the sample size there is just absolutely minimal. You don't really have anything to work off of. You know, I try to get creative, but there's just no way to do so.
Yeah.
So I think tonight's a big intuition night when it comes to Washington. So if you want to go there, we can.
We can. So overall take with Bradley Beal? Is he a cash lock? Because there's so many times we've talked about him being a cash lock, and then
we've talked about him the last two slates.
He hasn't underperformed. The team has underperformed drastically.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you saw what it looked like for him last night. They literally kept I don't care about Covington tomorrow night. I want to know about tonight and Rodney Hood. No one cares about Rodney Hood.
I care about Rodney Hood.
Yeah, I mean, last night it looked like he was in a living hell going up against Houston. Just like watching John Wall and Boogie, and just thinking to himself, like, man, he had to watch Westbrook, just like, oh, poor Bradley Beal. I feel bad for him. He has the least amount of help of any stud in the NBA. So
NBA history.
Matt, at 10-2, like, I'm probably going to go back to the well there. He is carrying a lot of ownership. There's no Westbrook tonight. He's carried 42% usage rate in his last 2 games, and that was with Westbrook there yesterday. Obviously, Westbrook on a back-to-back sitting, thankfully. So I do like Bradley Beal at 10-2. I think he is cash viable. I will probably be going back to the well there again. And then from the other spots, it's kind of a crapshoot between like Jerome Robinson, Isaac Bonga, Garrison Matthews. I do like Jerome Robinson again at 4,800.
I do too.
With Westbrook on the floor last night, I think his usage wasn't where I thought it was going to be. And Westbrook tried to take over in that second half, and it was
Westbrook can't take over anything.
Yeah, it was a lot of Westbrook chucking up shots and so I kind of like Robinson again at 4,800. I think the ownership there is going to be pretty low, so maybe more of a tournament play for me. We got to keep an eye on Raul Neto too as well. He's currently projected as questionable at 4,300 and pegged for 24 minutes. So if he's out, that means more minutes for guys like Garrison Matthews, Jerome Robinson, Cassius Winston. So we do still need to keep an eye on here because of the NATO news. I do like Beal and Cash, but probably everybody else is going to be tournament plays. Garrison Matthews, I guess I wouldn't hate as a last piece either.
I completely agree with everything you just said. I think you need to make Bradley Beal yet again a priority, TJ, personally, because let's just take this and look at his previous games here. In both games, they've gotten blown out. He's still gotten to 45 points. Yes, 45 points is not what you're looking for, but that is his floor, okay? His ceiling is what, 70 points? 40% usage rate on the season without Westbrook. So you got to take that into consideration. Yes, his floor isn't what you want it to be at 45. You'd like it to be a little bit closer to 50, but that's a blowout, guys. This spread it's not bad at all. The spread
especially
is 8
if he's
points.
Carrying ownership.
If they can keep it close, I mean, you're looking at a slate breaker right there. He could easily be the top scoring person on the entire slate. I am still on the board of Bradley Beal. Completely think he's a cash lock. 10-2, a 40% usage rate for a 10-2 guy is actually pretty undervalued. Think about Harden, 40 to 45% usage being at what, 14K? I think it was 2 years ago, or his usage rate was so insane. So was his price tag. But I completely agree. I think Bradley Beal, Nato is questionable, right? Technically right now. Yep. Yeah. So if he does play, I do like him at 4-3. If he does not, yes, I completely agree with Sano, forehead man. Lock him and load him. $4,800. Right now he's showing very low ownership, even at 31 minutes, which I don't agree with. I guess people are looking at his last performance in 30 minutes, but that's with Westbrook. So
that was with Westbrook.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Any more teams that we should be covering?
He was with Westbrook last game as well, the game prior, but that was when Westbrook was more in a minute restriction. So
I want to talk about I want to talk about the highly anticipated matchup tonight, TJ. Two powerhouse teams here. We have some mispricings, more so on the Spurs side because they're projected to score so many points tonight against your Boston Celtics. 110, absolutely unbelievable. They're just going to pound them. DeJounte Murray, 6.6K, 12.1%. Just looks underpriced. Passes the eye test. He was 6'5 last game, and look what he did with that. Got the 46. Probably the only guy that I'm considering. I'm actually kind of stunned at his ownership. He's going to put Marcus Smart in a blender, 12.1%. Do you consider him a cash viable option?
No.
Okay.
Nope, that's it. That's all I have to say. I don't mean to dishearten you and your Spurs. I'd probably rather go DeRozan, honestly, at 7,100.
I like him too.
The last game was kind of a fugazi, as I guess I'll call it. It wasn't actually fugazi. That word doesn't make sense there. But yeah, it was definitely a weird game against Washington. Pop also went away with him to close out. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go off of DeRozan's last game at 7,100. I still think he is cheap. He's a 1.17 fantasy point per minute with Derek White off the floor, highest usage on the team. So if I'm going anywhere, it's going to be DeMar.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. 7-1 just
the Murray. Yeah, the Murray price tag is cheap too, Matt. But yeah, DeMar would be my play.
DeMar and DeJounte are definitely, I think they're both cash viable. The ownership definitely concerns me. I think they are definitely GPP viable if they stay that low for sure. We won't talk about Boston. We know that none of those guys are in play. Let's go ahead and all right, no, Kemba Walker's our thumbnail. Kemba Walker, 6.3K, a very good price tag on him based on what he's been doing in 29-24 minutes. TJ, does he play over 30 minutes in this game?
I think 30 is a good number, honestly. I have him at 30. If he plays more than 30, I think that's even better. So, this is going to be the first game he's played with Tatum and Brown. I don't know if he's going to come off the bench. I would assume he starts and they play Tatum, Brown, Smart, and Kemba all together. Siakam and OG are still game time decisions. Well, we need to know that. So yeah, it is pretty tough to kind of see what we're going to get from the Celtics tonight, Matt, with all the studs being back. But I do like that Kemba price tag at 6,300. He's carrying a 1.47 fantasy point per minute in the 4 games he has played. Again, that isn't alongside Jason Tatum. Capella will play, so that's good to know. So it's interesting to see how they mesh, but I think that price tag's really cheap, and I do like going to him. I think he's cash viable. Again, I am a little timid just because it is the first game that they're all going to be playing together: Tatum, Brown, Smart, and Walker. Yeah. And last year, if you take that in consideration, even though I think Jaylen Brown is leaps and bounds better than he was last year, Kemba actually had the highest fantasy point per minute with all 3 of them on the floor, that being Tatum, Brown, and himself at a 1.06 fantasy point per minute. So, give us Reddish and Rondo. So basically what I'm saying is, I think you can go to Kemba and cash if you want as a last piece. I don't know if I'm going to do it just because I want to see, again, how it looks on the floor. But I do like him at 6,300. I think he is very cheap.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I like him only as a last piece. When I was making the thumbnail this morning, literally no injury news whatsoever. I had to pick between. We made 8 in a thumbnail. Kemba Walker is my only other option, guys. So I apologize if you guys start Kemba Walker tonight and he sucks. Don't come crying to me. Come crying to TJ. Blame TJ. That's his team. Okay. Also, I noticed that they have the Vegas odds completely wrong for some reason on Fantasy Cruncher. They have Boston favored by 4 points. Yeah. Okay. So let's we'll wait for that to update. We'll move on to Brooklyn and Atlanta. Yep. We'll move on to Brooklyn and Atlanta. I want to talk about them real quick because their over-under is crazy. 238. We saw this over-under earlier in the season. A 244, I believe it got up to, TJ. Correct me if I'm wrong. But right now, the ownership on these guys, TJ, that's the one of these guys has to make the optimal. You have to think, right, in this high over-under. So for GPPs, I'm all aboard Brooklyn. I don't care who it is. Pick somebody out of the hat here. Irving, Durant, or Harden. Where are you going, TJ?
KD. I said Harden last game, and he closed out really well against Miami, but he just hasn't been shooting a lot. So I think KD is going to be my favorite play here from Brooklyn moving forward. Shot 6 of 21 against Miami, Matt, in 38 minutes, and still had 52 DraftKings points. So I do like him in this matchup if I'm going anywhere between these guys. But again, it's flip a coin, honestly, or or roll a die and give them each 2 numbers. Between these 3 and KD, Harden, and Irving on who could go off. I mean, Kyrie at 8,800 kind of sticks out. Atlanta guards are not very good defensively, especially if Reddish is out. So I would have interest there too. But yeah,
KD's a do-it-all player. You have to take him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, I only have interest here in tournaments, though. I don't have interest in cash.
Yeah, but again, TJ, I'll say this: one of these guys should make optimal, right? I mean, as long as this does shoot out, as long as that over under is
if it shoots out for correct. Sure, yeah, one of them's in there. Yep.
And again, think back to the season, we saw an absolute all-star game performance between the two, and then we saw a complete dud. So it looks like Vegas is somewhere in the middle now. I do think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. So. Let's move on to Atlanta since they're also in this game. Do you have any interest in cash for Trae Young and Capella, knowing that they're playing now? TJ, $9,200 found on Trae Young's a little underpriced.
Yeah, Trae Young's cheap. I think he's a little bit underpriced. I still think Bradley Beal is somebody I'd rather get to. We are still waiting Reddish and Rondo. So if Reddish is out, that's pretty big. That does give Trae Young, a slight bump. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on there. Hopefully we get that while we're still live. But yeah, I think it's dependent on whether or not Reddish is good to go. That would probably make me be a little more interested here in the Atlanta side. But for now, again, just tournament plays. I think this is definitely a game I want to target in tournaments with that 100%. High over under and these low ownerships.
I really did think the ownership was going to be higher, at least on Brooklyn's side. I mean, there's still some appealing plays over there. So I'm a little confused on that. So I definitely like them for GPPs. I'm not going to jump too far ahead, but where else do you want to go, TJ, in terms of cash? I feel like there's some options here and there, but I think we covered
honestly, right now, a lot of the chalk is coming from Utah and Phoenix.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami, I have interest in them again against Denver, especially with Dragic being out. That gives me some interest in Kendrick Nunn at 5,700, but we need to wait and see what's going on with Tyler Hero because that's
if he's
big for
held out,
Kendrick
that
Nunn.
is huge.
I think if Hero's out and obviously Dragic being ruled out, I would assume that Kendrick Nunn starts. So I have interest there in like Bam and Kendrick Nunn. I think they're going to carry some ownership. I think Kendrick Nunn probably carries a little more than Bam. I'm trying to think. Like, obviously, Indiana's huge with Sabonis.
I want to talk about one guy.
Yeah, Jeremy Lamb. Sure, you can talk about him.
No. I want to talk about Garland because we're already getting a lot of questions. I already know the questions section is going to be dominated with Darius Garland. So let's go ahead and address that right now. 215 over under. That is the lowest on the slate. Darius Garland, though, $4,600, 17.2%, playing 33 minutes. Got off to a very fast start earlier on this season, and now is projected at 33 minutes. Probably the only guy I'd consider from this team. Is he cash viable, though, TJ?
I think maybe as a last piece, if you want to go there, sure.
Yeah.
I think if you're landing on him at 4,600, that is very cheap. This is a guy that was, north of 6K against Brooklyn 3 games ago. Obviously was on a minute restriction. Now it kind of looks like they're letting him off the leash a little bit here, Matt. So at 4,600, if you're landing on him, he rates out the best on our sheet. He's a 1.4 usage bump with Kevin Love.
I thought you were about to say fantasy
Larry
points.
Nance off the floor. No. 0.79 fantasy point per minute and a 25% usage rate. So I have him pegged at 25.6 DraftKings points. So if you're landing there, I don't hate it. I think it's in the range of, I think it's going to be between him and Garrison Matthews. I think they're in that similar price range, and maybe even Jerome Robinson in there. If you're landing on him, I'm okay with that.
But you don't prioritize him, though, right?
Correct. I'm not prioritizing him. Nope.
Okay. Larry Nance out. Did you do any calculations for them yet?
Yeah, it doesn't really affect anything.
That's what I thought.
Let me just make sure I have the right minutes in here. Give me one second.
I can read them off to you if you need them.
You get Drummond at 28. Yeah, Sexton 32.
Sexton at 36, actually.
Sexton, right?
36 is,
I was going to say. All right, what do you have, Drummond?
Drummond 28.
Yep.
29.
Okay, so Sexton.
29. 36.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Coro Beast 34.
I hate when you go out of order. Yep.
I'm just reading down the projected minutes.
I know you're going the minutes. Yeah, I go by salary.
Okay. Garland 33.
Yep.
Osman 27.
Okay.
Jarrett Allen trash.
Okay. Yeah, they got to give him more minutes. Matt, so actually Sexton at 36 minutes gets a 1% usage bump. He's a 1.1 fantasy.
I was just about to say he looks good.
I haven't pegged at 40 DraftKings points, so I don't hate him, honestly. I'm not in love with this matchup, but we saw Detroit in a pretty low over under. I think it was it last night or 2 nights ago, and
Detroit's been getting in some shootouts.
Yeah, they ended up putting up a pretty decent amount of points against.
Look at these points.
76ers. They put up 119 points, and that was a lower over under. So I don't hate Sexton and I don't hate Garland. Those would be my 2 favorite plays here.
Yeah, the one thing with Sexton is like he could easily play 42 minutes in a game. One of those players that just is always out there. You guys know I love minutes and I love his upside just in general in terms of minutes. If he gets hot, easily could break the slate. Sexton's one of those players that could do it. Marcus, thank you so much for the subscription.
Competitive game too, so
should be.
That's the big thing there.
2-point spread
with the Cavs.
Yeah.
Do
we have any updates that we missed? Oh no, here comes the updates. Gaming, Whit DZ. Really appreciate the subscription, really do.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. It looks like they're stopping. People hate us. We're trash.
That's what I thought. Okay. I'm trying to think of where else to go. When did Cleveland play the Lakers?
Cleveland played. Oh, that was December 27th. Yeah. I'm kidding.
No, it was the 25th. Why can't I see? It's not. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Trying to figure out why.
I'm checking Fantasy Labs right now to see what we missed. If you guys are brand new to the channel, guys, hit that subscribe button. What we do is we go over all the cash options, and we talk a little bit about GPP, and then we answer questions in that order. So right now we're making sure we get to all the cash, making sure we're not missing any injuries, because then we'll be going out of order. And then we update based on the injury news that comes in live
Matt,
for you guys.
excuse me. I can't. Sexton was in foul trouble against the Lakers too. I was wondering why he only played 29 minutes. He got in foul trouble in that first half and then picked up a fourth foul 7 minutes into that second half. So that's why he only played 29 minutes. That's why I was confused because I knew that game was somewhat competitive. We just got a question in the chat, and this is somebody that I did want to talk about is Cody Zeller. I think his ownership's going to come up, Matt. He's projected to start tonight over Bismack. They have him pegged at 22 minutes. So even at 22 minutes, Zeller's a 1.1 fantasy point per minute on the year. I have him pegged at 24 DraftKings
There
points.
we go.
So I kind of do like him as a cheap option.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, so I like that.
And
in terms of anywhere else in cash, like I think the Miami guys are going to come into play, especially if Hero's out and Nunn and Bam. I think with Indiana, if Sabonis is out, I would assume they start. They started the second half. Brogdon, Justin Holiday, Lamb, McDermott, and Turner. In that last game against, where is it? I had the popcorn for it. Who did they play?
Kevin King. I heard Kevin is handsome. Can you confirm? Depends on how many beers. That's my answer.
Yeah, no, I don't think Kevin's handsome.
Yeah,
I think he's gorgeous.
Okay.
Who
Cody Zeller is Kevin King.
Oh, Kevin asked that?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Imagine having to call yourself handsome. That's never a good sign.
He's gonna roast us now. All right, Cody Zeller is probably gonna be the top cash option. TJ, I will say that now.
Okay.
I think so.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
I really do. Right. 3,400s, especially if Sabonis isn't down low.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. 3 beers. He said 3 beers.
Yeah. So, Matt, when Sabonis left that first half against, it was Toronto, they started Brogdon, Turner, Holiday, McDermott, and Jeremy Lamb. And obviously Jeremy Lamb was spectacular. So I think if Sabonis is out, I'm going to have a lot of interest in Jeremy Lamb at 5,100 if he starts. But that is yet to be seen. We do need that news from Sabonis. Unfortunately, we are still pending it. I hope we get it soon so that we can try and figure out what the right direction will be with Sabonis off the floor. Malcolm Brogdon,
if he's ruled out, that is enormous for that team.
Yeah, like I think Brogdon would come into play. I mean, I think Miles Turner at 7,500. Like, I think there'd be a lot of interest for me here in Indiana. I don't know if I would prioritize it over, Utah and Phoenix with Booker and Mitchell being out, but I think they'd come into the discussion of a high usage guy that is being out. So I think Jeremy Lamb would be a really good cash option at 5,100 if he does start.
Yeah, and he played 33 minutes last game. He's projected at 29 right now. I think that's a bit on the conservative side for sure.
Safe side, yeah, for sure. Yeah, coming back from his injury. Yep, I agree with you there.
All right, I'm going to update the ownership because I really do think Cody Zeller is going to jump up. I really do.
Okay.
I
agree with you. I think it's going to come out. I think he's a really good cheap option tonight. I don't know if he'll pass Ingles, but I think he might shoot up to the top there as some pretty good value.
Because value-wise, he's showing very well on their sheet.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go ahead and look at the Miami picture and see if I can try and find anything interesting with I'm going to call Tyler Hero out and see what we get. Avery Bradley is available to play. That doesn't really do too much.
Kevin, you're being counterproductive here. We're trying to focus.
I'm going to take off let's see here. That is last 2 seasons. I want to take off this season. Kendrick Nunn, show me something special. 1.08 fantasy point per minute and a 5.6% usage bump at 5,700.
I don't feel like taking all these guys off the court. That's the thing. Like Miami's, the entire team's out. What's going on here?
Right. So I'm going to put Nunn at 34 minutes. I'm going to put him at 1.056 and a 1.08. Yeah. So Matt, if Hero's out and Nunn does start and play 34 minutes, I'm going to like him as a cash option at 5,700. Yeah. He gets a 5.6% usage bump, 1.08 fantasy point per minute, and a 29.4% usage rate, which is second highest on the team behind just Bam. And if we look at Bam as well, who gets a 5.4% usage bump, a little bit of a smaller sample size, I would have Bam pegged at 55 DraftKings points. So I would really like Bam, and I would really like Nunn in cash if Hero is out.
Okay.
Obviously, we have Butler and Dragic already ruled out.
Yep. I can agree with you there. That's some good analysis, TJ. TJ always said this with the stats. TJ is data punching man. This guy is just
big time data driven.
This guy is a cheat sheet, right? He has an Excel sheet and he just uses the right side of his keyboard and just number punches. Just like crazy.
I'm a big number cruncher for sure.
It's great.
Yep, that's what it takes, baby.
All right. Do you want to move on to GPPs while we wait for the news?
Excuse me. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. I think we touch base on some of my favorite ones. It's going to be that Brooklyn game, 100%.
Yep.
Guys, if you're playing multiple lineups, and I'm talking about 150, I would say I would have a rule that says, hey, look, put one of these three guys in each one of those lineups. One of these three guys will make optimal. Mark my words, guys. They have to. The over-under is way too big, assuming that does shoot out, either from the Brooklyn side or Atlanta side. If Atlanta does pull off the upset here, definitely could. Trae Young could easily make optimal. Same thing with Capella. Capella in a great spot. Even John Collins should do very well in this up pace matchup. Other teams that I want to talk about, I think Vooch is going to fly under the radar tonight, TJ. I think he looks great. Okay. 9.2K in the pace up matchup versus Sacramento. Defensiveless. Aaron Gordon also looks pretty good. Talked about them in my video. Some other GPP options that I was looking at. My Spurs with DeRozan we already talked about. And possibly on the other side of the ball here, I think Jason Tatum is in a good spot. $8,700 pace up spot for your Boston Celtics. Milwaukee, Giannis, we didn't even talk about him. 10.7, right. Always GPP worthy whenever he's on the slate. Same thing with Chris Middleton at 4.9%. If that is competitive, which it should be against the Toronto Raptors, only a 7-point spread. And then the last but not least, the Pelicans. Zion is going down in ownership, 7.8K. Also Brandon Ingram, 8K. Love those two for GPP options.
To play.
Okay, so just ignore everything we just said about the Pacers.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Hudson, for that. Yeah. So Sabonis is in. I want to see if they start Jeremy Lamb. If they start Lamb, I think he's viable. I just don't know what his minutes are going to look like. I think he'll start. He's going to start starting eventually. Yeah, Matt. No, I can get behind most of those tournament plays that you said. Actually, all the tournament plays you said.
Looks great too.
Yeah, Steph. I mean, how about Embiid and AD tonight? Two big men potentially going at it down low.
AD, yeah.
Embiid at 9,400, showing 4% ownership. We have AD at 9K. Yep, showing 2.5% ownership. So like, I'm gonna have some interest there. Maybe the two big men can just have an absolute battle and both go for 60 DraftKings points. Nikola Jokic at less than 5% ownership. It's a tough matchup against Miami.
So many studs.
Seeing him at that, there's so many studs that are carrying low ownership tonight. I like that Vooch play that you said, actually. I like that a lot at 9,200. I think there's a lot of good center options. I feel like we're pretty repetitive with the center options because there are always so many. Jeremy Grant, Matt at 8,100. I don't hate him. I think he's in play. We've seen how fantastic he's been so far this year. With both who's out for them? It is Blake Griffin and it is Killian Hayes still. Okay. With both of them off the floor, he gets a 1.3% usage bump. He's a 1.27 fantasy point per minute, projected at 35 minutes. So I do like Jeremy Grant. I also have some interest in a guy like Wayne Ellington, but that's a really deep punt. Gordon Hayward is a guy I'm interested to in tournaments, Matt, showing less than 10% ownership at 7,500. I do like him as a tournament play.
You're a huge Gordon Hayward guy. I did not mention Luka, and he's on the slate.
Luka at 10-9, like he's a good play. I think he's
the
viable
2-point spread now for Utah. So
yeah, so I'm on board with him. There's so many good tournaments play, Matt. Let's keep the rest for Patreon. But yeah, there's a lot of good tournament plays tonight.
What an aggressive comment that was.
What?
All right, you'll see it. All right. Completely agree with everything you just said about ownership and the studs, guys. One of these studs will break the slate. It's just a matter of which one at low ownership. Yeah, that caught me off guard. Sorry. Power forward for cash, Grant. That's a good question. Do you want to get the questions now?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I'm gonna go to Discord. We have about, I'd say, 20-ish minutes left for the live stream, possibly
15,
less.
20 minutes. Yeah. If you're looking for a cheaper price, Grant, I like Cam Johnson or Crowder. If you're looking to maybe spend up a little bit, I do like DeRozan at 7,100.
Nicky Amish, Small, GPP, Conley, Nunn, Cameron Johnson, Hayward, Ayton, Kemba, Lamb, Gobert. Yeah, I do like that. I think it's a little bit bigger for GPP. I think you need to get some more cash in there. But if Dragic is held out with who are we pending? Hero, then yes, Nunn's going to be a great play. John, are you dying? You okay?
Yeah. I've been dying.
Johnson or Crowder at basically the same price as Johnson. Cameron Johnson. Yes, I like Cameron Johnson. You agree?
Yeah, I
hate Cameron Johnson. What's up with
you?
No,
I don't. I love Cameron Johnson. I was pretty diminished when he got into that double overtime game and they yanked him and he didn't play the last, I think he played the first 2 minutes of the overtime and then he came out. I think they had his threshold at 35 minutes. They didn't want to keep him in longer than that. I do lean Cam Johnson, but that's going to be tough, man, because I think Jay Crowder is a pretty good play with Chris Paul off the floor as well.
Zeller cash viable on DK. Yes, I believe I answered that a little bit earlier. Assuming his ownership goes up, I don't see why it wouldn't. I really do
Cam
think.
Reddish is available to play.
Yep.
Rondo out. So,
Boom. TJ, you nailed
yes.
that.
What did I do?
Joe Ingles number 1. Guess who's number 2? You said this earlier.
Matt Downs.
I wish. Cody Zeller's number 2.
Zeller.
Yep.
I know.
Okay.
Yes,
Any love for Pelicans?
My brain is on.
Okay. For once. Any love for Pelicans against a bad Washington defense? I absolutely love the Pelicans in GPPs. Yes, I like Zion.
Yeah, Zion can eat tonight.
GPP lineup: Sexton, Clarkson, Bridges, Prince, Zeller, Kyrie, Middleton, Wiggins. That's very contrarian. Make sure that's only big GPPs.
I like that Wiggins play.
Yeah, a lot of people like Wiggins in our Discord. How's this for DK GPP? Irving, none. Nader. I don't think Nader is what?
Nate. I mean, he threw out the Nader train. Nader is projected at some time tonight, and
he was
is,
cash viable earlier. I thought he was going to go down, but yeah, more of a GPP play for me. Giannis, Zeller, Kemba, Cam Johnson, and Ayton. Yeah, I like that overall lineup construction. Luka or Beal tonight for cash and GPP.
I'd say Beal. We still have Dorian Finney-Smith, Powell, and Richardson questionable to come back tonight with the COVID tracing stuff against Utah. So if they're in, it's definitely going to be Beal.
Wait, what did you say? COVID tracing. Okay.
Yeah. They've been out for, 2 weeks now almost?
Yeah.
Josh Richardson, Powell, Kleber, and Dorian Finney-Smith. But Dorian Finney-Smith, Powell, and Josh Richardson they're technically questionable. So
yes,
could potentially play. And with that being said, Matt, if they are going to be good to go, I think they're all going to sit again. I give it a Bradley Beal. I'm just worried about, a blowout. I don't think the Pelicans are going to blow out Washington, even with this depleted roster. If that happens, then yeah, I'd rather go Luka, but obviously you can't predict that. So give me Beal.
All right. Can you pick 4 out of 5 guards for me? He's giving us a list here, TJ. 4 out of 5. Okay. So just pick the worst, okay? Pick the worst and we'll get rid of them. CP3, Beal, DeJounte Murray, Kemba, Clarkson. Those are all so very different.
Murray for me is the guy that I would get rid of.
Yeah, Kemba's going to get bundled for me. It's going to be, Kemba. Get that out of here. No, I like all those plays, honestly. I like every single one. I honestly, no bias, TJ. I do think DeJounte Murray has more upside than Kemba. I think Kemba's safer. Just because of minutes. Marcus Smart sucks too. When playing mini-max in general, how many positions is minimum for pivots? It depends on the contest size and your lineup construction, but I usually say about 4. With no Westbrook and still waiting on NATO news, I believe, how do you feel about Cassius, I think it's how you say it, Winston at 3.1? He should hopefully get good minutes.
Yeah, he did actually log some pretty decent minutes last year. Cassius. Oh, Cassius. Yeah, like Cassius Clay. Yeah, Cassius Winston.
Okay.
I don't hate him. It's a tournament play for me at 3,100. He did see some pretty good time against the Spurs when Russ was on that minute restriction. He played 22 minutes. So yeah, if NATO's out, then yeah, I think he could play 18 to 20 minutes again. It's strictly a tournament play for me, though.
Okay. Does Sabonis being in hurt Brogdon? I wouldn't say it hurts him. I'd say it definitely helps if he's out for Brogdon. Yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt him.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts him from a fantasy perspective outpoint in terms of where his ceiling can be. Obviously against Toronto with him off the floor, he was dominant. I don't think you're going to see that type of performance alongside Sabonis. So,
yep. I
think it technically hurts him. But
okay. Yeah, hurting is just such a bad word for me. All right, go ahead, TJ.
Okay. Questions. I forgot I answer questions. I literally haven't looked at any. Let's see here. What do we have? Sorry, I'm late, boys. Best value tonight. I think we covered that, Matt. If you want to, I think it's going to be Joe Ingles. It's that Utah game. I think there's some Phoenix value. There's some Miami value now, especially if Tyler Hero's out. So yeah, a lot of good value tonight. Joker, Luka, or Giannis, anyone. I mean, you can't have a wrong answer there. I feel like.
300 viewers, guys. Thank you so much. If we get to 380, $25 giveaway. I know it's a steep hill to climb, but guess what? We're going to get there. 380 viewers, I believe. Do
you guys like Kuzma tonight? He dropped 39 on Philly last time he played. No, I don't have any interest there.
Kuzma doesn't have hands.
Yeah, I like AD, man, at 9K, honestly. Let's see. Lamb for small GPPs. Yep. I want to see if Lamb starts tonight. I
Lamb
think he
has
continues to come
hands.
off the bench, but Lamb does. Let's see here. Ayton or Gobert for tournament. That is very tough. I'm going to give it to Gobert. Actually, am I going to give it to Gobert? TJ, who would you give it to? Ayton or Gobert? I have Ayton projected at 43.3 DraftKings points, and I have Gobert projected at 42.1. So I virtually have them
The exact same.
because Ayton's $100 more expensive.
Gobert's been more consistent, and they have the better
Gobert
matchup.
has been more consistent.
You wanted to say Ayton. I think Gobert.
I don't know who can. I just don't know if like Al Horford's available to play tonight. Sure. Okay, Garland's starting, Matt.
Garland, yeah, he's showing really good ownership. By the way, I forgot to tell you about that. Yeah. So he's showing fourth.
He hasn't started since he's been out though. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, oh man, yeah, I kind of like Garland. But between man, like I don't think Al Horford can contest Ayton.
Where's
like
that Spider-Man?
Gobert has Willie Cauley-Stein and what?
Where's that Spider-Man meme where they're like pointing at each other? They're the same person. That's Ayton and Gobert. Yeah.
Well,
tonight.
Okay. Let's see what else we have. Clarkson. Yeah, Jinwoo. I like Clarkson. Ingles or Conley. Ingles. Let's talk Washington. Frank said. That disaster. It's a disaster. If Hero plays, do you like Nunn and Cash? No.
Work.
Nope. I like Nunn a lot more if Hero's out, obviously. Beasley and Tobias or Durant and Bridges at small forward for FanDuel? I would go with Durant and Bridges. So bonus in, yes. Embiid and AD fight it out tonight for sure. Yeah, Jaden, I agree with you there, man. They're gonna bang down low. AD or Curry in tournaments, Matt. Who do you like? I think you like Curry.
I like
right?
Curry's upside, yeah.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go AD, man. I like
AD too, but
crazy.
Curry,
Do you want me to read Saucy's comment out loud or no?
Sure.
It was the McDonald's eating the 20-piece nuggets.
Yeah, do you want to read it?
No, I'm not going to read it.
Oh, come on. I made your face
you,
big. Okay.
Grant sucks without Blake. I disagree.
Grant's a beast.
Yeah. Power forward for Cash. Grant, we did touch base on that. Kings, I don't really have too much interest in the Kings outside of tournaments. No Cash plays there. What Jazz players are good for Cash? Ingles, and I would say I like Jordan Clarkson in Cash. I don't think his ownership is too high, Matt, right now, is it?
20.2. It's about 8th on the list here.
I do like I like Ingles for Cash. I think he's a lock. I like Conley at 6,100. I like Gobert and I like Clarkson. I like all of them for Cash, honestly. But I really like Clarkson. If Clarkson's going to show low ownership, I love him for tournaments.
I have a couple questions here.
Go ahead, Matt.
Winston, Gill, Beal, Zion, if no Nato. Yeah, if Nato doesn't play, Winston and Gill from the Wizards. He's talking about those two. Everybody's been talking about
Winston and Beal.
Yeah. You guys love Winston in the Discord. I think you know something we don't know. Huh?
I'm not going to go Cash as Winston and Cash.
Okay. Yeah, and that wasn't if that was a Cash GPP question. Top 4 GPP core. So for core guys, when we mention core, it's usually for Cash. There's no such thing.
Winston was the stud at Michigan State. Just so I don't know if you.
I mean, does that matter?
No.
Oh, I thought we were covering NBA. I mean.
Okay, yeah, move past it.
Okay. Top 4 GPP core. Yeah, we don't usually give a core for GPP because when you talk about core, like those are your guaranteed players that are gonna do well. Right. And that's for Cash. So for GPP, you're asking a lot out of us. But for core, we'll talk about it. I guess we can give a Cash core. Do you want to talk about that?
OG just got ruled out.
Great.
And they're probably going to announce Siakam right now.
Great.
They haven't announced Siakam yet. Is you in Siakam? You can keep going, Matt. I'll just cut you off again.
You just want to cut me off? That's fine.
Yeah, I love cutting you off. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you just did it.
Well, you did the awkward pause. Tournament, you don't want to.
I opened up my phone again.
Okay, well, and your multitasking is not very good. We know that. See, look at you can't even answer. I'm gonna get some more questions while Matt is.
I'll just shut up. It's fine.
At once. No, go ahead. You go. I'm gonna run
my lineup for single entries: Kemba, Garrison, Matthews, Nader, Antetokounmpo, Ayton, CP3, Cam Johnson, and Kelly Oubre. What do you think about that?
Is that a tournament?
That's a tournament, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I thought it was cash. I almost had an aneurysm.
That's really contrarian though. Make sure that's a big GPP.
Yeah.
Is
Not
AD
really.
out? I wish. No. I have 2 slots left for power forward and forward with $7,200 left for cash. Is Miles Bridges a good pick? Miles Bridges. What's his price tag looking like? And
No.
is this for
you don't want to
cash?
go Miles Bridges in cash. Yeah, no.
If this is for cash, no. Nope. Miles Bridges is not a cash play.
Miles Bridges, no. Mikal Bridges, sure, if you're landing on him, but
Yes.
he's too expensive to.
I agree with
you
that.
Can't make that work though. I think Mikal's 5,200, so you would not have unless I'm on the slate at 2K. Yeah. So now I'm starting to think, Matt.
I'm good though for questions. So
Yeah, no. If you want to look at YouTube, that's fine because I'm looking at the Toronto pitcher now. I'm trying to think.
Who's that? Is it just Nobi?
Yeah, it's just a Nobi right now, but we're pending Siakam. So because Norman Powell is going to come into play now.
Yeah.
6,100.
Norman Powell is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, we balled out against Indiana.
Are you going back to the well with Lowry?
Bunyan boy, I might have to.
We hated him the other night so much.
Yeah, it was. I fell for the trap.
Yeah, I mean, we all did, and the stats made sense. He only shot 11 times and hit 2 of those shots. And come on.
Yeah, he was.
That's unlucky.
He was brutal, and he honestly didn't play a lot in relativity to what his normal minutes are. He played 33 minutes in a competitive game. He's playing 36 to 38. Yeah, he was just super inefficient. It was the Norman Powell show, 100%.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. So if we just take Anunoby off the court, what is that looking like? Is it doing too much to anybody? Except boy. Yep.
So
Van
I would
Vliet.
assume
Van Vliet's a beast, huh?
now.
Ooh, Van Vliet's a beast without Anunoby.
So I'm gonna put Powell
It's
at
a
34
beast, guys. Look at
minutes.
this. Okay. What does that do?
Because I would assume he starts.
Yeah, but he's only
and
averaging
Howard's-
0.76 fantasy points per minute.
Yeah, well, I would assume that
Is he
because
trash?
Siakam's still there.
Okay.
No, but you get Siakam there too. So Siakam gets a little bit of a bump here. Van Vliet
It's a huge
doesn't
bump.
really. Lowry
What are you talking
With just
about? What are you
Powell?
looking at?
with Powell off the floor.
Why are you taking Powell off the floor?
Yeah, I don't know why. That's who I took off. I took off Powell. I didn't mean to.
Yeah,
take off
dude, take off Anunoby and look at this.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I didn't mean to. Yep.
Hey, Data Boy.
All right. Let's see here. Oh my God.
Look at that. Data Boy. He's under pressure right
You're
now.
gonna call me Data Boy?
Yeah.
Oh wow, he gets a 5.3% usage bump. Huh? Pretty significant.
I told you.
Chips are
Okay.
starting to bar.
Hey, guys, we're
I
ahead
know.
of TJ
I
here.
know. I said, oh man, guys, Matt can't multitask to save his life, and it's
Apparently you
cute as
can't
I am.
either.
Yeah, shut up. Wow. Okay, Van Vliet.
Is it
Sheesh.
reasonable to have all 3 of Conley, Clarkson, and Ingles for cash? Yeah, I don't mind that, actually.
Yeah,
One of
I
those
think you
3
do.
will definitely have a ceiling game and should easily make the optimal, honestly, with all the usage going around. Stanley Johnson for Raps. Minutes will go up if no Siakam. Yeah, that's a big what if, though. We're waiting on that.
Yeah, it's Siakam's out.
My lineup.
Yeah, so Matt,
Okay.
I'm not gonna go to Powell if just OG's out. If Siakam's out, then it's a different story. I'm just gonna throw that out there
Isn't
to
that-
everybody now that's gonna ask about Powell.
Didn't I just say that? Like, do you listen, TJ? Like, do you listen at all?
Okay.
All right, ready?
All right.
My lineup for single entry: Garland, Nato, Ingles, Durant, Zeller, Curry, Cam Johnson, and Davis. Anthony Davis. I actually like that. I really do. Anthony Davis being the only guy, and Kevin Durant. Yeah, those 2 guys have some ceiling potential along with Curry. Ooh, that's a powerful lineup if those guys all go off. I like that. All right. What's going on?
Matt, let's go over our core cash. We're
Okay.
getting a lot of people asking about the core for tonight.
Yeah. And that's when everybody leaves on us. That's the one thing I hate. They get the core and they dip.
Yeah, they do.
It's
They're big core dippers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So
You guys don't actually like us. You just like the core. That's fine. You know what? That's fine.
Matt,
Go ahead.
Van Vliet does look fantastic right now. He gets a 5.3% usage bump. He's a 1.33 fantasy point per minute, 29% usage rate with just OG off the floor.
And it's a pace-up spot.
Yeah, dude, Lowry looks good too. Oh man. All right, I'm probably gonna be going Lowry in tournaments, Bunyan boy. Hopefully his bunions are all cleared up. So if I'm looking at cash for tonight, Matt.
They're just using us for our
Ingles.
core. Go
Yeah, it's
ahead.
okay. I'm going Ingles. I'm going. Jordan Clarkson isn't carrying as much ownership as I thought, but I really do like him with Donovan Mitchell off the floor. But I don't know if he's like a safe core play. I think I'd go Ingles. I like Garland now starting at 4,600. I think you go one of Rudy Gobert and Ayton, one of the two. I think Zeller's in play at 3,400. Cam Johnson's in play at 4,800. Mike Conley's in play at 6,100. I personally like Clarkson. I like Nunn. I like Kemba. That is a fantastic core. I think any number of those guys that you can put in your roster are all cash viable. So I gave a core of 8 guys, Matt.
Yep. So anybody in the NBA is viable from TJ tonight. You heard it here first.
What is happening?
I'm just roasting.
You are coming at my throat.
I am. Do you know what? Because I'm sick of it, TJ. I'm really sick of it. Day in and day out. You just bully me on stream, and I'm letting you have it.
Bully you. I'm gonna go cry after this.
Okay.
Goodness.
I'm gonna be very boring tonight. It's gonna be Joe Ingles for me. It's gonna be Cody Zeller, Cameron Johnson, and Garland. I think you got to go with those obvious value plays. That way, it allows you to get all those guys that you just talked about. Yes, some of my favorite pay-up options are going to be Ayton. I think Rudy Gobert more so than Ayton, honestly. Just been very consistent. I still think you got to go back to Bradley Beal, as obvious or as bad as he's been, and it's not him, it's the team. Yeah, I think you got to start with those 6 I think I just gave you, TJ.
Okay.
I think that leaves you with a lot of salary, too.
Okay. I think you're trash. What else?
All right, here we go. All the viewers are going to leave now.
Van Vliet not cash viable? I think Van Vliet's ownership is going to creep up here. We just need to wait and see what's going on with
380, and we'll give away $25 if we can hit that in the next 5 minutes, guys.
380,
nope,
and Matt will give away his green screen too. Jeremy Lamb, I want to see if Lamb is starting. Before I say if he'd be cash viable or not. I don't mind him as a last piece, though, at 5,100.
So you do consider...
There's still so much unknown.
Do you consider Van Vliet a cash must?
A must? No.
Okay.
An option? Yes.
Okay.
I'm not going to build to try and get Van Vliet in there.
That's fair.
Do like the matchup against Milwaukee, honestly, in an uptick type game. So, yeah, if I'm landing there, if I have the salary to get him, like, Matt, if I could get... Zion or Van Vliet. I think Zion has the way better matchup against Washington and a depleted roster, but I think they're going to rely a little bit more on Van Vliet, just in terms of Toronto and the offense. So I just gave myself a tongue twister there between who to go between Van Vliet and Zion.
I will say this: we're going to need
my own brain.
Yeah, so no, we're going to need more coaches. I mean, the Discord is popping off every single night for NBA. It's been crazy. Kemba is playing a full game, right? Is Kemba playing a full game, TJ, or no? Like, what's going on? What's going on here?
Not technically. A full game for Kemba last year when he was healthy would be 36 minutes. So no, he's not going to get there tonight. I think it would be 32 would probably be his ceiling. That would be my prediction. Brad Stevens, none of the beat writers from Boston have said anything about Kemba's actual minute limit. I think 30 to 32 is safe. I don't think he plays 36 in a competitive game yet. I don't think they're there yet with him and his knee.
I think tonight you got to prioritize minutes. I sound like a broken record, but specifically tonight because there's going to be a lot of guys on minute restrictions. I don't consider Cody Zeller one of those guys because he's only $3,400. I'm talking about the guys that you have to pay up for in that 6 to plus range. But yeah, I think Ingles, Zeller, Cameron Johnson, and Garland, you should start with a bill at least in cash. Go anywhere else in GPPs, guys. There's so many options, so many good options tonight. Rudy Gobert, I'm going to throw into the mix too as another cash lock, so that's 5 for you guys. I think he's in a very obvious spot. Benefits heavily usage-wise, playing 32 minutes, and I think that's going to be a competitive game. All the other games have some really annoying spreads on, like the Milwaukee-Toronto game could easily blow out TJ. Unfortunately, I think that could definitely screw you if you play somebody like Van Vliet. But yeah, there's a lot of guys with upside tonight. I like Steph in his game. I think he has some ceiling potential, and obviously in the Brooklyn-Atlanta game, some very good GPP options there. And I don't even mind them for cash, but hey, I'll stay out of that just because of the ownership. I just love all those guys' upside in that game. We're getting close to 6:30. TJ, do you want to go ahead and get off?
Yeah, let's stop.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Almost at that 380 mark. We'll get it next time, right, guys? With all that being said, guys, have a great rest of your day. Let's cash.
Good luck, guys.